Alright, hi, welcome to an itch.io game I found called Me. There's really not much information about this game, so if you take a look at the images, it seems very surreal, sort of dreamlike, and of course, if we read the description of the game, Me, I watch the scenes in front of me. Am I really there? My body does not feel like it is mine. When I look within the mirror, I do not recognize my own face. How long will this continue? So, as you can probably tell, it's kind of vague. You can't really tell what this game is sort of really about. And so it's going to be relatively interesting. So, of course, this is just a game name in 5 different languages. You have English, you have, I assume that's probably going to be Chinese, even though Japanese uses the same character, because it says Mandarin translation over here, and then Malaysian, and then Indonesian, and then and then Tamil, which I'm not exactly sure what that. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Sorry, but yeah. Without further ado, grab a cup of coffee and let's get going with Me. Loading video tome. Okay. Story loaded. Images. Click or spacebar to begin. Okay. Okay. Oh. So here are 5 language options. Let's go with Me. Click tap to continue. Hover near the top for additional settings. Me. It seems I'm looking up at the sky. Why are there weird triangular shapes in the sky? For a while now, I have been watching myself. I cannot do anything but watch. I think I am being called to eat. I stop looking at the sky and move. The voice I hear is not my own. Oh, okay. The student. I think I am at school, but I cannot see anything related to school. All I see are pictures of the outside world. They are in monochrome, but I feel like I can see them in color. I usually get told I am the model student. I am what people aspire to be. I'm smart, but I am not I. I mean, to begin with, isn't it weird? I cannot see what's literally in front of me. I do not know who I am. Even if I am at the top of my class, I do not even know my own name. I hear the teacher talk about a forest. I wish to be in that forest rather than here. I am probably answering questions someone asked me. I cannot see I. Hey, are you there? Am I there? Anyway, there are some weird rumors. Stuff like, you should be You aren't one, though, right? How would I know that? I answer, though. I cannot hear what I am saying. The room goes dead, silent. I am somewhere else again. The soundtrack, oh. It might be on the way to school, it might not be. I think I am actually here this time, staring out of a vehicle. I feel like I'm going crazy. I must be going crazy. I cannot see a single person's face. I cannot even remember my own name. I cannot remember any of their names. My head hurts most of the time. When I look at my own reflection, there's something stopping me from seeing my face. It is all a blur. Well, since I'm not in control of my own body, I guess it does not really matter much. If I'm just staring out the window all the time, there probably is not too much to worry about. But then, why am I even here? Why am I watching this? I spectate my own life. No, my own life. The one who is actually in control. I can sort of feel her sanity waning. It's as though she wants to disappear. Maybe that is why I am here. I think I'm insurance. If she cannot handle it anymore, I need to step in. But even so, when I'm back at school, I cannot see a single person's face. Instead, I see this. Have I been here before? Like nice footage over something censored, or perhaps something I saw in a book. My brain processes it sorry, I can't pronounce that apparently. My brain processes it all vividly, like I really am there. Even if I am disconnected from what I'm seeing, I still watch something play. Can you help me with my homework? I know you're really good at math. The footage ends there. Huh? Today, I can actually see something happening in front of me. I still do not know where I am or what I am doing. Maybe it's tutoring, in a factory, locked in a small glass cage with a teacher. I do not know, really. Well, whatever. I still cannot really see people's faces. It is all blurry. I am moving on autopilot, it seems. Passing through areas I can kind of recognize, but do not completely know. I shall continue watching the employee. Some of these places are definitely not where I live. They are probably things I saw from the television, from books, or from school or family trips. That being said, it's hard to tell the difference. Well, right now, what I'm actually seeing probably isn't where I actually am. I can hear some vague voices. You're late. That's what all blank are like. Don't make me regret hiring you. I open a locker with a familiar number on it. Wait, is this a locker? There's paper inside. I cannot see a few words, but I think they are for me. I pull out the contents out. It's cash. I seem to be working for my family. Both my first name, middle name, and last name are blurred. I saw a vague address where I assumed I lived. The place I work at seems to be in a large building. There's no one around. I reach a staircase. I feel uncomfortable. Even though I am not in control, I can still feel her body. The stomach churns. I hold the wall for a moment. It is dark. This is the first time I have seen this. Observe the shelves of foods and drinks and restock things methodically. Hey, good to see her back. Hello, I'm glad to be back. It's been rough without you. The boss doesn't want to hire any more people. They only take people like us who can't refuse. Oh, sorry. Shouldn't have said that. When I heard you speaking up about it last time, I was sort of moved. You're right, you know. Yeah. Anyway, can you help me over here? The footage ends here. I might be trying to escape reality, to think of the good times, the places and things that were enjoyable, like the time I went out to eat dessert, or the cat I saw while passing by to work or school, or the beach far away from everyone, or the flowers I saw. I think something bad might be happening to me. If I am still at work, that means I stopped wanting to see it a while ago, wishing I was far away, wishing I was not here. I do not want to see what is in front of me, or maybe I am not letting myself feel the brunt of it all. If reality is so difficult that I've begun to exist, then something is clearly wrong. If only I could leave it all behind. If only everywhere I went was empty. Well, even if it was not really empty, I just did not want to be here right now. But where is this? Where am I? It is all so familiar, yet I do not know. The motorcycles, the road, the sea with the palm trees, the blurry sky with no stars, the places that I've been, the places I have not been, the food I ate with my family, the food I ate alone, the food I ate with relatives during big events. My head hurts. When I think of something else, I feel better. Maybe I'm finally allowed to leave. Somewhere like this. Somewhere I cannot be. Somewhere I should not be. Somewhere that should not be. I'm so sick of it. All of it. All of this. All of me. I see the sky. I see the road. I see the video store. I see the toy store. Even though I see it all. Even though I see the world. I do not want to be here. The daughter. Damn, this soundtrack is very distressing, which I guess is kind of part of the whole sort of tone of the game, right? The place I grew up is not where I currently live. Where I live does not have telephone lines, but I can vividly remember them. Regardless, it is always so hot. Every building that can afford to will have... Oh, sorry, my cadence was wrong. Every building that can afford to will have AC, but back home, it was rarity, a luxury. I remember we all packed to leave, and then we left. I think my parents felt like we need to go somewhere else. Things just were not working out where we originally lived. Or maybe they wanted a better opportunity for their kids. That being said, I cannot understand my own language anymore. Home has always been stifling, so I would try to leave as often as I could. Trapped in a small 2-bedroom apartment for 4 of us. I share a room with my little brother. I cannot see his face though, and I do not know his name. We both tried to adapt to this country. We learned their language. Of course, at the cost of our own. I remember showing my parents struggle to speak the language here. They prefer to speak what we used to. But since I am not home often, I have lost it. My friends speak a lot of different ones. At school, we are encouraged to learn them. I did my best to fit in. I learned and learned. And now I can barely speak to my parents. I'm not gonna try... Okay. I don't know these words, so I'm not gonna try and speak them. At least, I'm probably gonna butcher them, so... So why are you so difficult? Look after your... I assume that's your brother. Stop running away. I give them the money from work and head out again. I can hear the television turn on. They watch their news and shows in our language. If I were to speak it at school, I would get made fun of. As I step out of the house, I look at my hands. I cannot see them. The person. Okay. Well, obviously it's shaping up to be quite obvious how the game is sort of delivering its message, but yeah, it's interesting. I avoid looking in the mirror and reflective surfaces. I do not want to see my own face. Maybe I cannot stand it as much as everything else. Maybe it is painful to be reminded so constantly that you're despised for what you look like, for what you were born with, for what you are. So, it is easier to look away, to pretend it does not bother you. Despite that, it's time for a haircut. Sometimes I can actually see my hair in the corner of my eye. Shoulder-length dark hair, probably for the school regulations. Anything longer would be difficult to look after. It seems to be getting a bit long. I know that when I look down, I cannot see my own hands because of the color of my skin. I know what my parents think of it. I know what most people think of it. I know I cannot watch this anymore. I do exist. I cannot look away anymore because I am here. I know. Therefore, I am. Great. Wait, okay. That ending is a quote from René Descartes. Okay. So I'm trying to remember the experiment because it's been a while, so I apologize if I get some details wrong. But it's basically proving human consciousness and existence So basically, if I remember correctly, René Descartes sort of just locked himself in a closet and was like, all right, how do I know if I'm real? Well, I'm thinking, so it must be real. So that kind of, I think that's the general myth or story behind it. But again, I could be wrong. I could be getting a few details wrong. It has been a while since I heard the actual story. Right, so credits. Made for the Videotome Jam 3 Spectator during April 2026. Oh, it's actually a pretty recent game. Made using Super Videotome. Modded. I don't know what this is, actually. Created by the Bird Collective. Graphic design, programming, writing, Giant Pita. Photography editing. Yep, all the backgrounds are photographs. Photography plus many friends. That's nice. Music. Very, very, cacophonic music, which I guess is inherently the point, right? Beta reading. Mandarin translation. Malaysian translation. Indonesian translation. Tamil translation. Special thanks to Freya. Thank you for playing. The end. So that was a rather short game. So this game is interesting, right? It's not necessarily an exploration. It's a lot more like a kinetic novel, I guess. So there's two keywords essentially that sort of dictate this game in general. Of course, we have the theme of the Videotome 3 Jam, Videotome Jam 3 or whatever, which is Spectator, and of course Me, which is the title of the game. So throughout the game, we're basically backseating. I guess that's sort of the best way to describe it. Our main character, who is the eldest daughter of a family who just recently immigrated to a new country. I think they deliberately said that it was a new country, and it's where they look different and they speak like a different language, and so it's through this sort of lens, this new context, that we get these different facets of our main character. So in I don't know if it's like in psychology or like it's just sociology or just anything, I guess, in general. I mean, it's hard. This is essentially the theme of the game, where who is the real you, right? Because we do have us when we're alone. We do have us and our thoughts when we're all alone, when everything is silent, and all of that stuff. But you will always interact with people differently depending on who they are, depending on their background and all that stuff. So, for example, you'll interact differently with your friends versus your parents versus your teacher, right? Those are all still you, but they're different facets of you. They're filtered out through a different context. And we get a lot of that in this game, right? At school, it's like, oh yeah, you're the perfect student, you're all of that. But she wasn't even allowed to like speak her own language without being mocked, right? So in that regard, she feels like she lost a part of herself, right? Culture-wise and stuff like that. At work, they deliberately mention that the owner hires people like them, people who have no choice, people who don't speak the language, people who just can't get a job elsewhere because they don't speak the language, and so, for a cheaper wage, sure, get over here, you're hired or whatever, right? And that still happens in Canada. It's news. And then of course we get the aspect of our main character as a daughter, where she loses that connection with her parents because now she doesn't even speak the language anymore, where she loses a lot of that sort of connection with her parents because they moved to a new country, and language is something that's quite difficult to actually upkeep. Especially with more Asian languages where it's very tonal. So a lot of our words will basically be homonyms, and just the slightest sort of tone change will essentially determine what a word will be. So if I say guai, that's gonna be sort of expensive. And then if I say guai, that's gonna be ghost. And then if I say guai, that's gonna be more like a closet, right? So they're all sort of homonyms, but depending on the accent, right, it's very they change into different words. And it's very easy to lose that. I mean, even just English, right? I guess it's just languages in general, and culture especially. If you don't practice anything, you will lose it. So here, because our character is essentially just losing touch with her past life, and she can't even communicate with her parents anymore, she gets increasingly isolated. And then she doesn't even recognize herself anymore because, one, her entourage doesn't even accept her, right? Like for school, don't speak your language, right? Or else you're gonna get mocked. The employer probably underpays her, and then it's just overall a pretty big douchebag. Overall, the employer. Her parents, she's again losing that connection, and we see how callous they are with her because they're like, you should take care of your younger brother or whatever, right? Very dismissive. In that regard, our main character just kind of wants to just be alone. She's tired of all this. She's tired of losing herself. She's tired of just not being able to tell who she is because her connection to everyone seems fake. It seems built on brittle connections. So I think that's there's basically it's rare to, I guess, see it's not uncommon to see games revolving around immigrants, and it's not necessarily uncommon for games to sort of see different facets of a character's psychology. But it is interesting to see sort of both combined and see different facets of it filter out through different roles, if that makes sense. It's not really a game in a traditional sense, but like I'm used to reading visual novels. I'm used to playing kinetic novels. So yeah, it's quite interesting to see how much they actually managed to fit in this small sort of game. I did appreciate a lot of the things. Like I did appreciate a lot of the sort of photos. I mean, it's it does have a very similar feel to a lot of parts of Asia that I visited, which I appreciate because it does feel nostalgic, and yeah, it just feels familiar as well. Yeah, the graphic design parts, the title cards. Very nice. Music, very cacophonic. It's it's disturbing, which is probably the point. The translation as well. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's hard to translate things across languages without losing the meaning. So I do appreciate that they kept the general meaning. So yeah, solid script overall. And so yeah, that was Me by Sekali. I think that's Sekal Igus. I'm so sorry if I butchered the name. I'm just a bird collective. that's the English name. So yeah. Thank you all for making this game. And so yeah, if you guys want to experience Me for yourself in all of its various languages, make sure to try the game on itch.io. And so yeah, hope you guys have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on when and where you guys are. And see you guys next time. Bye. See you and take care. Bye.